What's up, Kaiju fam? This is Godzilla Train 1090, and with another episode of the Raw Attitude. And today we're going to be talking to another fellow content creator himself. Of course, we have bunch of different guys in this community. This one may be a little bit more of an addict to his collection. I don't know, but of course, I met this wonderful guy at G Fest last year. Of course, I've known him in the community, but I actually had a chance to get to meet him last year at G Fest. So I'm actually excited to have the opportunity to actually talk to him a little bit more today. Which today we're going to be talking to the wonderful Tanner Steffen. Tanner, how are you doing today, good sir?
I'm doing good, doing good. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
So of course, Tanner, if for the people who don't know you, I guess the simple question that always comes up first: what made you a Godzilla fan exactly?
Well, I think I share it pretty much with everyone else's, or not everyone else, but a lot of people. Started with dinosaurs as a little kid, and then one day on Sci-Fi, I was just flipping through a channels at a beach party that my mom had me go to, and there wasn't a lot of younger kids, so I just went inside and watched TV, and Godzilla 2000 was playing on on the Sci-Fi channel. So it was Godzilla. It was pretty much the end with Godzilla and Orga hug battling, and I was
Mhm.
just like dinosaurs. And Mom walked in, and was like, "No, that's Godzilla." And right after that, it hooked something, and I saw 98. I saw 54 pretty early as a kid, and so on and so forth up until now, pretty much 23 years later, 22 years later.
Very nice, guys. Early 2000s is always an interesting film that I hear a lot of people start off with around our age group.
Hmm.
Because Lord knows my first was Godzilla versus Megalon, but I swear I don't, and I kind of talked about this yesterday. I don't remember when exactly I saw that film. So it's actually good that you have a vivid memory when you saw that film because that is a pretty fun film to actually get introduced to the franchise with for sure.
Yeah. It's one of my only memories from my childhood. So one of the few things I can remember is pretty much how I started my main hobbies that I'm still into today, or my main interests, and that's about it.
As of right now, what would you say is your favorite Godzilla your favorite Godzilla movie as well as favorite non-Godzilla kaiju film?
So, Adrian, I'm sure you know this. Shin Godzilla is number one. It minus one has I'm not gonna lie, minus one is getting really close there. I've watched it 8, 9, 10 times since the my 4K got in, so I've been watching it pretty extensively to give it a fair research. So it's kind of Shin and minus one, um, pretty close together. For a non-Godzilla tokusatsu film, I think. Well, not tokusatsu, but kaiju. Pacific Rim is first one that comes to mind for a kaiju film that's not Godzilla related. So
That's
um,
interesting because I know a lot of people do love Pacific Rim, but no, I haven't heard too many people say it's your favorite. What makes Pacific Rim your favorite exactly?
if I'm being honest, outside of like the Toho universe, I've been pretty lacking in my kaiju films. I'll be honest. It's the first Pacific Rim I got to see in theaters in 2013 at G Fest. Well, not at G Fest, but I was at that G Fest, and my mom and I
Mhm.
went to a 4D theater that actually had like rumbling excuse me, seats, and then it also had like a the water dispensers. So some of the water scenes, you get a little bit of spray of air and like a little bit of water.
Mhm.
So there's something about that experience, especially because I'm from South Dakota and we don't have things like that here. We're very like it feels like sometimes we're still in the 90s when it comes to our technology and our entertainment. So
Mhm.
for me, that movie holds such a core memory of that G Fest and just the movie itself. But I mean, it also is probably Gamera 3 as well. Those two are really a tie. So it might be a little bit safer to say Gamera 3, but it's pretty much one or the other. So
I mean, honestly, either one of really good films to be favorites of, especially Gamma 3. And
mhm.
I know we just talked about Pacific Rim. I want to say a few months ago, and yeah, I mean, it is an incredible film.
Yeah.
Not as appreciated as it probably should be. I feel like it should get a little bit more love, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I know there's a lot of like the big Pacific Rim fans. I see that they really are pushing for love, but I kind of feel like when it comes to new fans, it's kind of been forgotten about. Which uh, Pacific Rim: The Black, the last season came out like a year or two, maybe 2 years. I actually haven't seen it yet, so maybe I'm a little bit part of the issue as well. We just haven't had a lot of Pacific Rim content, though. I thought I was reading something that they were thinking about starting a new movie or a TV show. Probably just a rumor, but hopefully that's true. I miss the universe, so
Yeah,
and the
because
designs, the kaiju designs are very nice in my opinion.
oh, absolutely. I actually just saw Pacific Rim Uprising. I want to say a month or so ago. Because I mean, of course, you know how everybody was bashing that movie when it came out. So I was one of the ones that just kind of hid under a rock until I decided, I'll eventually watch it. And
Hmm.
no, it wasn't the first one. I'll definitely say that, but I thought it was still a pretty solid film, honestly. Definitely
Yeah,
not the worst kaiju movie out there for sure.
I I agree with that. I saw that movie like 3 times in theaters. I think it's kind of just a good, just sit back and enjoy. So type of film, nothing too big like plot twist wise. Besides the one thing in the beginning, which is a huge thing, but after that, then it's just kind of this just sit back and popcorn flick. So it's a good movie. Actually haven't watched it in a while, so I might have to rewatch that this week.
And of course, so since your favorite Godzilla film is Shin Godzilla, would you say that's also your favorite version of Godzilla? Also,
Yes, yes, Shin is number one. I very very pleased with Shin Godzilla. Shin's literally half of my physical collection. So um, I have like 120 pieces, like 50 to 60 are just Shin Godzilla. So even after selling a few the last few months, because I was like, maybe I have too many similar ones. There's plenty of unique brands and releases I haven't gotten yet. So I'd rather have one of every mold instead of having five of the same, base figure, you know, at least right now until I get a bigger space again.
I think the first video I saw for you, Tanner, was I think it was a G Fest. I want to say 2 or 3 years ago, where you
Hmm.
actually bought the gigantic Shin Godzilla there. How
Oh,
was that? How was that experience for you whenever you saw it at G Fest? Because I know going from me finding stuff at G Fest last year was pretty. What's the word I'm looking for? Surreal. So how crazy was it finding that Shin Godzilla there?
so that G Fest, it was actually, is he in frame a little bit? It was the 54 here. The gigantic
Mm-hmm.
54 was my first one, which it was the same experience. So um, you probably remember gigantic Shin, and it still kind of is one of the more expensive X Plus gigantics to buy, especially the original one or the Awakening. And that was my holy grail. It was just didn't have the funds for it a lot of the time. So when the clearer version got announced and I had to make were you good? Sorry about
Yeah, we're
that.
good. You good? No, you're good. Go ahead.
Looks like my internet is bugging a little bit. Let me get it switched.
No problem.
We good?
Yes, we're good.
Okay. And I actually can't hear you now. Oh,
So
goodness.
you can hear me?
Testing, testing.
Yeah, you'll hear you. Can you hear me?
I have no audio right now. Um, oh goodness.
Gotta love technology, folks. Gotta love technology.
Oh goodness gracious. Sorry, if you can still hear me, I think my internet just went out. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
lose power at my place. Oh, there we go. Okay.
No,
I
you're good.
think I'm back. I'm very
Okay,
sorry
yeah.
about that. My area, we have power outages that happen like every week, and sometimes they go out in flashes. And I guess this week they're deciding to have their third one. I lost power for
Oh
like an hour.
goodness.
at the beginning of the week, and then Friday while I was at work, I noticed my modem turned off for like 3 hours. So
Oh man,
wonderful
no
time.
problem. It happened to me while I was working. I think Tuesday or Wednesday, the power just shut off for like a good 10, 15 minutes. Like, what the heck? But I just blame the
Yeah.
summer because at least down here in Texas, Texas summers suck.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of the same up here in South Dakota. Same heat, but more snow towards the winter and more snow all the months. But you guys still get pretty big snowstorms, right, in the winter?
Not down, not down south, no. But
Okay.
up north, they sometimes get some pretty intense snowstorms and everything.
Okay. Okay. Um, where was I? Oh, the gigantic 54. It was crazy because when I pre-ordered Shin, I kind of, as a collector, knew at that point, it's like, if I get that gigantic Shin, is this going to turn into a collection of gigantics?
Hmm.
And that's when at G Fest I made the decision. It's like, okay, so we're getting Shin in December, January, February time.
Hmm.
If there's a 54 for the gigantic favorite sculptures line 54, I was like, I will buy it if I see it available. And there was the Rick version was there, and the standard was there for retail. One of the tables had it for,
Hmm.
I paid under $6 for mine there, and I looked at it, and that was the first thing I bought. I walked in and I walked out with the box, and I had to come back down to the dealer's room.
Hmm.
Um, and it was just crazy. I actually went back and watched that unboxing video because I wanted to just experience that moment again and like just see my reactions to it. I've been for years watching Rich Iso and Fresh Vinyl and hearing about how these smell when they come out of boxes, and I didn't have an X Plus to that. So that first opening that box, and it opened up and it was just that wonderful vinyl smell.
Hmm.
I just fell in love immediately, and it all came back around. I was like, I get it. I really do get it. And now I've got a ton of X Pluses. So not gonna say it started a habit, but it definitely something in me. So
So you're saying the gigantic 54 is your first X Plus
yep, that was my first in hand, but technically I had the Shin on pre-order
on
beforehand,
pre-order?
but I
Yeah.
didn't get that, yeah, until even after I got the Defo Shin gigantic, and then I got the 74 Mecha Godzilla before that as
Hmm.
well. So
Okay. But yeah, the 54 FSO was my first gigantic also.
oh,
And I was kind of on the same when I was kind of on only gigantics. I don't have room for that in my collection, but getting that being my first gigantic was just surreal. And then of course gigantic Shin was just against this like you was a girl of mine also. I think a good grip of us was kind of got the clear Shin like all at the same time. It was awesome. I was like, yes, everyone got their chase of peace. Well, we can die happy now.
yes, yes, I remember the craziness. I think I messaged you during that because I missed the first two windows for it on Awesome Collectors. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, then they were able to get it out early for us. It wasn't supposed to come out until like January, and we all kind of ended up in right before New Year's or like a little bit after. That was a really fun like week and a half, 2 weeks watching everyone get theirs and everyone open it up. It was a very exciting time. I also agree.
Absolutely. 'Cause I know I was because at the time I was kind of wrapping up like okay, let me go wrap up for the year, get my top figures list of the year, whatever. Then all of a sudden I got the shipping notification. I was like, well, what? And like you said, I think we got it like the week right after Christmas. I think
Hmm.
it came really quick. I wasn't even expecting it to come in. I was like, at least it's not the first time this came out because then we had Dawson and Figure of the Year and all that mess, and it's gonna be a disaster. But I am glad I have it. Sadly, he's not here with me right now because I don't have the space for him right now, so he's at my girlfriend's house. But it's always nice to see
Okay.
him whenever I go visit her. Just there you are, Shin. Be home
Yeah.
soon. Don't worry.
Mine is right there, so always within eyes length. I don't let him leave my sight or any of the gigantics really. So, but yeah, he's always I'm thinking about redoing the shelves, and I'm pretty sure he'll be right here from now on. So right next to me, kind of keeping a creepy eye on me, or two eyes.
Right. How many Gigantic do you have, 10 out of curiosity?
I think it's 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm at 10 right now if we're not counting the Easy Hobby X Plus collab. Favorite products line. Fourth form Shin, or their
Mm-hmm.
Kamakura landing version. So
Mm-hmm.
once that's in, that'll be number 11.
So really, the 54 really bit that Gigantic bug for you, didn't it?
Yes, what I feared happened, which I don't regret it at all. These have been the Gigantics have just been this cool, like integral part of my collecting. Whether it's been in some of the Facebook groups or it's been here on YouTube, they've been these grand events on my channel. The unboxing videos, quite a few of
Mm-hmm.
them have had like hot sauce related challenges or a few drinking challenges with a few of them. And it's just led up to some of my like most memorable memories with some of my friends, because it's just like I have all that extra to it, and then it just makes the piece itself very, very special, because now I look at my gigantic Burning 95 and it's just like I remember when me and my group of friends hopped on a live stream. We were drinking, I was having hot sauce, which probably not the best combo if you're not experienced. I definitely don't recommend. um and it was super long. It was supposed to be like an hour stream, and it ended up being like 4.5 hours. I have some very funny clips from it that I have saved that we go and we share into the group chat every now and then. So, and some inside jokes as well. So I'm
I think Adam remembers some of those.
yes, I'm hopefully he remembers. Sometimes I have to go back to watch those videos to remember, because we got a little too crazy. At least I did. But all in good fun. It's a section of the collection that I'm really happy that I took the risk on. And although they are expensive, I do make uh, I do make it a priority to get these over pretty much anything else, because there's something about having a large Godzilla in your collection. Like I grew up with Bandais and stuff, which nothing wrong with those. I love my Bandais. Um, But there's just something about getting this big Godzilla and being like, it's not the real Godzilla, but it's still like something that stands out in the collection as well. Even when I compare it to some of my anime figures, like from Dragon Ball and Evangelion and stuff, it's just like I have this larger than life character in my hands, at least feeling semi larger than the average toy, I guess, or collectible that I was used to growing up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, like you mentioned, they stand out. Like whenever someone comes over, of course I would have my shows, but they always, what is that? And it's always Shin Godzilla. Always, it's always Shin Godzilla that always catches someone's eye. And there's only there's not really too many more Gigantics I probably get, but the ones I do have, they are special to me for a reason. Even the Mesco 89 that's sitting over there on his box, because I don't have a spot for him, but he's pretty amazing as well. But speaking of that, what got you collecting in general, besides this X Plus?
Good.
We're good.
Oh, okay. Good. Awesome. I don't know why my AirPod keeps going out every time it does.
Very odd. Um, Here we go. Sorry about that.
We're
Yeah,
good.
it seems like we're going through a little electrical buzz here in South Dakota. So, what started the collection?
Mhm.
It it was just as a kid, I had a big imagination. Didn't have a lot of friends. I was more recluse to myself. I was a single child, so I used my toys you know, to entertain myself. I had a whole ton of Dragon Ball figures and Transformers. And Godzilla, just I needed that physical item, I guess, as a kid, just to really I guess I don't really know. It was just a kid needing a toy, and I just needed to have Godzilla as much as I could, or I really wanted. I shouldn't say need. Um, and it just stuck with me. I've never stopped. I've slowed down a few times or taken pauses, but I've never been out of it. I've always still remained up to date. And now Godzilla collecting's been pretty much when it comes to collecting hobbies, it's been my main things for the last like 4 or 5 years, I think. So, and it never left. There's always something, especially now. There's so many products. There's so many different types of figures and Safubis that it's just an endless box of surprises to me. Really bad for my wallet, but it's a wonderful de-stressor from life, or one of my distressors, I should say. So
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good escape when it comes to collecting because I had Godzilla figures when I was growing up, but not too many. I had the Trapmasters 12-inch Godzilla, King Ghidorah, and Gigan, which Gigan and King Ghidorah are both long gone and destroyed.
oh,
I've had a few Zillas and stuff like that as well, but I didn't really get into collecting until I want to say 2009, 2010 when I started collecting DVDs, all the Godzilla DVDs, because of course VHS was going out of commission at that point. So I was like, okay, I need to go ahead and get these DVDs already, so I won't be without. And then when my dad passed away in 2017, that's kind of when I started getting into X Plus and stuff like that because I always did collect like Bandai's here and there. That States Monsters for me was always too expensive for the price for what it was, and then the first X Plus figure I got was the 30 centimeter 1989 Godzilla, the original one, and I've been hooked since then. So as always, thank you, Leslie.
Yes, thank you, Leslie. You also helped contribute to my dive into X Plus with the Gigantic as well. So watching all of his videos.
So of course, as I remember, your very first video on YouTube was the Dragon Ball Super TCG Galactic Battle. Where was your inspiration to hop on YouTube 6 years ago?
So funny story with YouTube, although that's the channel's, and I don't want to even say birth, that was the debut of the channel. I actually had the tag for my channel for like 3 years before that. I had a YouTube channel growing up, a different channel that I'm not going to mention the username of because sometimes I go back and I look at those, I'm like, ouch. But I just started a YouTube channel really, really early on. I think it was like 2011 was actually the first time as a kid, mainly because I was watching, when YouTube started, it was like AMVs of anime and stuff, and I was really into that. And then it took a while. It actually took quite a bit for me. I was more into like the Dragon Ball side of YouTube, and for some reason it took me a while to get into the Godzilla side. And then I started connecting with those first few channels that aren't around anymore, or for whatever reasons. And I just was like, oh, that would be cool to do, just sit down in front of a camera and talk about a toy that I like. And I was just like, let's just do that. So I did that channel for a while, and I kind of copyrighted striked that channel as a kid to the ground because that was when YouTube started to pick it up, and I had no idea what it meant. So after like a year of no growth and still posting, I was like, oh, I must have did something wrong. And I kind of started thinking up names for this channel, and it just kind of sat there for a little bit, took a few years off, and kind of decided if I actually wanted to do it. And then I started getting back into Dragon Ball card game collecting, and I tried that stick a little bit, didn't really work, which is, okay.
Yeah.
And took another break, and it came down to Kaiju Online right the first year when COVID started and we didn't have G-Fest, because I went to G-Fest 2019 and I was going to make it at least a bi-yearly or maybe a yearly habit, and then COVID hit and got canceled, and Kaiju Online started, and it just something clicked, and I started making videos again for a little bit. And then I had a family thing come up pretty much after starting that shut me down for 4 months or so. And then I got SH Monster Biolante, and I made an unboxing video, and it's been a not a swan song, but a wonderful dance on here since then, pretty much. And I pretty much consider that video to be the true first start. Everything else is just kind of like a episode 0 prologue.
Mm-hmm. I get that because I did AMZ videos as well as a kid, and of course, since I was using Linkin Park songs for every Dragon Ball Z video I did, every single time, strike, strike, strike. I don't know where that YouTube channel is anymore. I don't know if those videos are even on here anymore. But lots of fun hours just gone of making AMVs. And then I want to say I got into YouTube, I think around the same time you did, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, about 2020, 2021. I honestly just needed an escape from just the pandemic and everything. So that's when my photography started, and I was like, you know what? If anyone else could do reviews, I could do reviews too. So I just started doing my own reviews too, and I mean, now we're here.
Yes. It's kind of crazy to think that it's been that long. Like, it still surprises me that the channel is 3 years. Like, sometimes I sit down and think it's like, oh my goodness, it's been 3 years. It's wild how fast time goes when you're having fun.
It really is, because it honestly hasn't felt like 3 years for me either. It's just ridiculous. Even think about when I started Monsters of Attitude, it didn't. This has been up 3 years too now. It's like, really? It's been 3 years already? What the heck? But of course, I know your most watched video was the Bandai Movie Monster series Shin Godzilla Second and Third Form. But what was your favorite video to record exactly?
Favorite? Oh goodness, there is quite a few in there.
Name them all.
Name them all, man. One of them, and it's not like the review section of it was really different or out of this world, but my review for the Gigantic 74, there was a while, and at the time it didn't work with my work schedule, and it still kind of doesn't work, but I would like to bring this back. I cut down on reviews. I did less reviews, but I tried to do like skits or like movie recreation scenes like as intros. And for the 74, I recreated the live, the reveal of Mechagodzilla. We don't have a X Plus doesn't have a gigantic fake Mechagodzilla, so I pretty much just continued right after that, and that's the intro of that video. I remember working really hard on it, and it been the first time in a while that I really went out of my way and worked on something like that, and it was just so much fun to start at the beginning and then see it at the end. A lot of times I get frustrated with things like that in the middle of watching the growth of large projects like that. So it was something that helped prove that it's like it's worth it to follow through and really enjoy the creation process, not just the thought of doing the project and the actual completion of it. Like, the whole building process of it is its own unique thing. And then I did a few more goofier ones, like kind of low budget. I tried to do some like Showa themed stuff. One of my stop motions I did on the channel, Godzilla vs. King Caesar, that was like a 2-day production that I pretty much didn't sleep over because I was just having so much fun going over filming stuff multiple times.
You still hear me, Tanner?
Should be the last one there. We all good?
Yeah, we're good.
Audio's still not working. Let me reset.
So I just got a text
from my utility company. They said they're doing some work on a power line, and that's what's going on. So they said it should be done around this time. So hopefully we don't have to do this again on the reset. I do apologize. And the audio is still not working. Oh my goodness.
Here, let me reset my AirPods quick.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the stop motion was just a lot of fun. It was kind of a big project, but kind of not. It was just more a lot of reshoots, and I
wanted to gain the essence of the Showa film. So there's a lot of like goofy things that you normally don't see a lot of times anymore with stop motions. Like, there's a few shots where I purposely keep my hand in, or there's a scene where I believe it's King Caesar like hits Godzilla and it goes POV, and I actually have the camera fling back and it takes it off of the set and you just see the ceiling, and I put some Godzillas around it and just kind of other things just to take it out of there, just to give it a little extra special something. You know, I understand the professionalism and not showing those things, but I just have fun kind of trying to bring back that show vibe a little bit, you know, and just keep it low budgety, be filmed just all passion. So, and I regrettably haven't been able to really do another one since, but it's something I'm hoping to do maybe for this channel's 1,000 subscribers special. I've got a few things I'd like to plan, and that's kind of something I've tossed the idea around, but I'm nowhere near a start point yet.
Mm-hmm. Ironically, since you brought that up, I was able to find that video in case someone hasn't seen it.
I still can't hear you. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Oh.
I'm guessing it's been a while since you've seen it as well. Which I know of my videos, this stuff like this does take a lot of work. Even the small things I do takes a lot of work. So I know this probably took a while for you to get done the way you wanted it to.
Sorry, Adrian. I'm having audio issues now.
No problem.
My goodness. Silly technology.
It's okay. We know how technology is. It happens.
All right. Let's see here.
You hear me now?
Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I still hear you.
Yeah, I'm still out. I'm gonna hop out. I'll re-enter. I think
StreamYard page got messed up that last bolt. I'll be right back.
Okay. Give us a moment, folks, while Tanner gets his audio issues taken care of. In the meantime, I guess I'll check in with the chat. Of course, Oscar's here. Hello, Oscar. Obviously, Adam is hiding here in the chat. Of course, same with Eric. And we'll just go ahead and wait for. Oh,
here we go.
Getting our Tanner?
I should have sent you a warning. There's
some sort of tech issues when I live stream. There's always something here, man. South Dakota just like doesn't want me to live stream. Or my devices are just the one times they want to work against me. It just happens during live streams. I apologize about that.
It's okay. We both watch Kaiju live, and we know how what happens with that every time they go live. So it's
yes,
okay. It happens.
It's so much fun. I love it. I honestly I don't mind the tech issues. It's always fun to watch the confusion and then just the laugh back moment, and then everything gets back together and it just goes all back in schedule. So it's so much fun.
It is. It really is. But I don't know if you heard the last question I asked you, but I was saying that like even like trying to like doing that Mega Godzilla video, I know there was a lot of editing that probably went into that for sure.
Mm. Yes, yeah, there was. I don't think my filming was very long. I have a note somewhere on my iPhone because I like to, when I work on things like that, I like to just measure out the time just to see like how much time I put into it. I believe the filming for that was like 4 or 5 hours because I kept rewatching the scene so I could even get the camera angles right. So I wanted to be, besides the very first few moments where it's Mechagodzilla's eyes lighting up instead of Mechagodzilla transitioning from fake to his normal mechanical form, I tried to go angle by angle and get it almost as correct as I could. So it was like 4 or 5 hours for filming, but editing was like, I think it took me 2-3 days of working on it pretty aggressively, multiple hours each day, and reshoots, and then download everything back and then work on it. At the time, I want to say I was still using iMovie on my phone too. So it was just like a very, I'm happy for the experience, but I was not very happy with the whole process. iMovie on phones is not is not fun. So now I've got an iPad dedicated to Premiere Rush. So which is also gives me issues all the time. So I'm just cursed with technology, or technology just wants to vex me. So which is okay. We roll with the hits and we keep moving on.
Exactly. And then, I mean, really, that's honestly part of this broad experience of, I guess, being a content creator in general. Okay, she's just something that always happens. I know almost a few weeks ago, like I tried to post a video on YouTube, and it had that for some reason the voiceover didn't add onto the video. I was like, "What the? I know I did this before. I freaking finished. What are you talking about?"
Oh, I've been there. I've uploaded a few with no audio, or like sometimes if I don't let Premiere kind of sit on a video after I edit it, it'll even when it renders, it'll render laggy, and there'll be like
Mhm.
glitches in the video. And there's a few times where it's like I'll have Adam has sent me a comment once saying something was wrong. I have a few other friends that kind of watch. They'll send me like a DM and be like, "Hey, you had a little right here at this time slot. You had a little buffer. Do you want to go back and see if it's a fix?" So it's always silly, but it's like you said, we just that's part of the kind of the business, just working through those glitches, and not a lot you can do, just fix it and remain positive. So it always ends up fine anyways, thankfully, at least on my end so far. We'll see at the end of this year. The iPad's been giving me some weird storage issues. I got a big 1 terabyte and I've got 700 gigs open, and yet it still likes to say sometimes that it's full on space. And it's just like I'll sit there and look at my usage bar and like I have more than enough space for more than I could hold, like 1,000 recorded videos, and I have to always go back and delete them regrettably. So as long as YouTube doesn't go away, they'll be on forever. Although some of them probably best be forgotten, but it's all part of the journey. I'd rather just leave it all out there.
Mhm. Of course, I know that you have your tickets all ready for G Fest this year. Are you excited for G Fest this year?
Actually won't be able to make it. Had a
Really?
few life things come up, yeah, just
Mhm.
between a few things with life, and then I guess this year a lot of people, there's only 2 airports in my area that I can choose from, and the one that's 2 hours away is a lot cheaper. They sold out earlier than I was able to get tickets for, so it was kind of a bummer. It just isn't going to work out this week. Me and my partner are gonna hopefully be there next year.
Mhm.
Depending on, I'm supposed to be hopefully going to Japan next February, so I'm in the midst of getting that planned out and starting getting the early plan processes. So I'm it's going to be weird not being at G Fest. I was there the last 2 years, and then technically, if we don't count the canceled years with COVID, I was there at 2019. So I was at 3 consecutive G Fests, and now it's been tough to think about not being able to go, but at the same time, there's just not a lot I can do. It's kind of out of hand. Good
Mhm.
darn thing. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's just how it is. I'm gonna miss everyone, but I'm gonna be trying to keep up. Hopefully, um, FaceTime a few people so at least I can kind of be there and say hi to everyone. And if not, well, I'll see all the photos and memories on your guys' pages and everyone else's, and on YouTube. I'm sure there'll be some postings, so I'll be there in spirit.
Oh, of course. And then I mean, but at least you all going to Japan next year. I know you're super excited about that. Where's your trip to Japan going to entail of?
Uh, Audio went out again. Technology. I'm sorry, Adrian.
It's okay.
Let's see. I'm going to just do a quick reset. And All good.
All good on my end.
There we go. We got it. I got a quicker way to do it. Steve, your pod is in, and we're all good. Okay. Business, mechanical work. I get it. Power lines are difficult right now. They're trying to get it all done before summer starts, and everyone's traveling here in mass. So to this city, it's more busier during the summer. So they're trying to get everything done. So, what were you saying?
The question was, I mean, even though you won't be at G-Fest this year, you're all going to Japan, which is probably on a lot of people's bucket list. What are your plans whenever you go to Japan? What do you plan on doing?
So me and a group of friends are going. So we're going to rent out an Airbnb. They went in this past February, and they're actually going in July again. So they're within a year's time, they'll be in Japan 3 times. We're going to be doing the dream tour, hopefully as much as we can fit into a week and a half, 2-week trip. So going to be visiting all the stores. So plan is right now to hit both Godzilla stores in Tokyo and Osaka, Tokyo Tower. We're going to be hitting Awaji Island because I have to go see life-size Shin.
Of course.
Yes, we're gonna try to hit the Godzilla ride attraction. I believe it's back up. I don't think it's going to be up for too long, but I know the Ultraman ride has kind of taken its place. So, you know, whether it's Godzilla or Ultraman, we'll be going and enjoying that. We want to spend like a night or 2 in Osaka because there's this gaming hotel, maybe you've heard of it, where it's like this hotel that offers rooms and it has pro gaming setups. So you could live stream there or just enjoy games with your friends all in a group, kind of like back in the day with PlayStation 2s and PlayStation 3s and Xbox 360, you know, with the co-compatibility, or at least having 2 box TVs on other sides of the rooms. Me and my friends used to do that quite a bit. So we kind of want to try to do that. So, but we got to look into budgeting first. And obviously they can't really budget until this July trip is done. So they're still very much in this, but we're talking about the pre-plans and stuff. And I'm sure there'll be more as well. Winter Wonderfest is also like the main thing as well. I buy a lot from Wonderfest, and I'm ready to buy things not on the aftermarket, especially my Sarajarushi Shins, which can see a bit of a price hike on the aftermarket. So yeah, a little bit. Thankfully, they've gone down a little bit since the first 2 came out, but there's still a pretty big markup, which is fine. You know, they're hard to get to. The lines are long. A low quantity amount, so it all makes sense. So, but I'd love to go and see the sculptor in person and thank him, and just be able to buy them in hand as well. So, if he's able to make it, so he sometimes goes, sometimes doesn't. So.
I mean, even being at Winter Wonderfest would be probably a dream come true for a lot of us anyway. So,
yes.
Either way.
Yes, the last G tour that, or not G tour, but the last Japan trip that Kyle did with AJ and other fellow collectors in the community, I was actually supposed to go, but life would have some other plans, so I didn't make it. But that was like the final nail in the wall, where it's like, okay, we're gonna make this work. It might not be 2023, but 2020. Well, not 2024, excuse me, but 2025 will hopefully be the year. And then me and my partner also want to go in September, so that's for anniversary and honeymoon and stuff. So might be able to do that, but 2 Japan trips in a year is a lot for me. So
yeah,
for pretty much for everyone, it's a lot. My friends, like I said, they went February. Now they're planning this one, and they're getting it through. I'm very excited for them. They've been watching prices, waiting for deals on plane tickets and stuff, and I'm just watching them work through it all. It's been just, it knows I'm in a great group of guys to go with, and I know that planning is going to be wonderful. We're going to get it all set up, and it's just going to be a blast, since they still have all the experience. And I'm excited to finally go to Japan and see all the Godzilla spots and some of the anime spots for me as well. And hopefully there'll be a few like pop-up events, like memorial like type of events, kind of like the where they have the Godzilla suit set up. Hopefully they have some stuff like that as well, because I just want to experience things and have an excuse to travel around as well and just see all the things that don't relate to anything, just the culture and the actual environment, since it's pretty big difference over here in the States and over there. So I want to soak it in. Everything that I can, everything and anything.
No, that's honestly what I want to go to. I mean, yeah, all the guys is honestly a bonus for me. Like,
Yeah, it's just the cherry on top.
Exactly, but I would rather go see cherry blossom trees and just get a feel of the culture and the differences between Japan and here. And I like how Kyle worded it. You're somewhere you've never been before, but it has a real feeling of home. And that's kind of what I want to get whenever I go to Japan.
Yeah, such a touching comment. When he said that, I was like, I finally understand that like kind of feel for Japan. So it's exciting. I hope everyone gets a chance that wants to go.
Mine is 20. At least by 2030, I want to at least have visited Japan, even if it's just for like a week or a week and a half. As long as I'm able to go, I'll be happy to go.
Oh yeah.
So I was watching one of your live streams the other day, and I heard you say something interesting because, of course, there's been this lovely Haya versus SH Monster Arch war, I guess.
I wouldn't drop the quotation marks. There's a war. It's a battle. I was a little afraid this would be brought up, but yeah. I've been getting myself into my first probably steamroll of drama a little bit. So, but opinions are opinions. It's
well, exactly.
I'm fine. I didn't enjoy my Haya Godzilla, but that still isn't. I'm not telling anyone not to buy Haya. I'm not going on like a crusade to stop it. I'm still telling people where to go get the best deals in my comments and on my live videos. So I have nothing but respect for the company, and I hope they continue to do good. They just released that 91 Ghidorah, the promo pics, and I saw it. I was like, this looks really, really good. This is about what I would want them to do. I would say it's on match with the Monster Arts. I don't own it. I haven't had the chance to own it, but the 91's the first release I've seen where it's not like a lot of comparisons that are critical. It's more of just like collectors that weren't able to get the Monster Arts, kind of like myself. We now have a more an easier route to get something that's still within scale with Monster Arts or Bandai's that's still articulated, and it's been more of like an open arms situation. And I'd like to say I would hope it'd be that way, but also after the Scar King stuff, I think there's still going to be that left in or Monster Arts and Haya stuff. But I hope both communities are able to push past that and just look at the value of having both. It's competitor versus competitor. It's only good for us as the consumers, hopefully. So
exactly, because I mean, since I don't really collect too many articulated figures, I've kind of been out of the loop with that war. But I mean, honestly, because I got the Haya King Ghidorah and Burning 2019, and I have Gigan and 72 behind me on that shelf. I mean, really, both companies do have their strengths and their weaknesses. I mean, really, whatever you prefer. I mean, it shouldn't be an issue with nobody. It shouldn't be an issue that you like SH Monsters more than Haya or vice versa. I mean, well, it's our toys. We should be able to enjoy our toys. Who cares who likes what? It's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, I work for my money and I spend it how it is, and I don't question anyone else on theirs either, especially when it comes to hobbies and stuff. But that's just kind of how it is. I think the community will get around it. There was a little bit where Monster Arts wasn't as hated for a little while, and then once Haya started, it came back up again.
Yep.
But everything goes in phases, and I do have hope, and hopefully I can try to be a bridge in that connection to get them back into open arms. we'll see. It's kind of why the two reviews on both 2024 Godzillas were a little bit different, and I'm gonna guess the Monster Arts evolved and Haya evolved because even though I'm still a little cautious, I will still get the Haya evolved because I've already paid for it and don't really want to put the person I bought from, I don't want to cancel on them, so I'll do both and do a same style kind of dual review once they both are here, or once the Haya gets in after the evolved Godzilla. So hopefully it'll be a better situation. I only hope for the best after all, or I try to at least.
If I know, because in the SH Monster Arts 2004 of Godzilla, I do see why you do like that one better, because that one does have like a lot of articulation that even the previous SH Monster Arts didn't have. So I was like, I almost tossed it in my cart the other day. But and then because with the highest, I see what you mean, because the articulation could be a little bit better. It's not horrible, but it could be better. And the tail is stiff. That's the one thing I did notice about this thing that really threw me off, was why is the tail so damn stiff? But yet my 72 Godzilla's tail can do flips.
You can do flips. If you're really, really good at posing and balancing, you can get it to balance alone on its tail in multiple different positions with it, like making a U shape or a sideways J. Like, I still can't replicate that myself, and I try to practice like once a week with it just to keep up with my articulated comic book like posing. Like ACBA is what the comic book community does it, but all this stuff is kind of in it. I try to keep up with my knowledge on that, which I've kind of gotten a little bad at with my posing. But it was just a chance, but it's interesting that both are so different yet so alike. And for me, it's kind of like you said, a few years ago I wouldn't have said this. I would have been probably on the Haya debate if Haya would have came out in 2019. But now I have my X pluses, so accuracy just really isn't as important to me as some other collectors, which absolutely, if you want your figures to be more accurate than articulated, then Haya is literally the bang for your buck, and then it's most of the time half the price. It's a good deal, and I'm very excited for collectors to have that avenue. I really, really am. I just like my Monster Arts. I like my articulation because I like to do wild posing. Even if I don't post my photos, I'm taking photos all the time, And like, I have Evangelion, so I like doing just weird mashups and really weird dynamic poses. And the articulation of the Shma 2024 just works a little bit better for me, even though I love how large the Haya Godzilla is. When I unboxed it, I was just like, jaw dropped. I was like, this thing really is that much bigger. It makes the Monster Arts shin look pretty sizable comparatively, and he's a pretty big Monster Arts, or tall at least I should say. So it's been an adventure the last 3 weeks, but it's okay. I try to be as respectful as I can. So
yeah, that's really all we can do, especially for the trolls that love to creep up on the internet.
Yes, sometimes the bait and switch it's tempting, and I can already say I've fallen for it a few times, but I getting back into making sure that just respectful, or if it is a troll, I can always just delete the comment or just ignore it. And then I also try to at least manage everyone else as well. I don't want it just to be me respectful. I want it to be everyone else. I don't want anyone to pop in and see a comment and it's passive aggressiveness on any side. So having to be a moderator the last week of myself and a few other people, it's been an adventure, but reminding everyone it's okay to have opinions and keep on keeping on, letting everyone live and spend their money how they like and just not step on toes. It's a good learning experience. I'll sum it up at that. Otherwise I could go on and on about it, and I don't want to. I don't want to take up your time.
Yeah, I understand that. But you did, and I guess the last question I got for you, because you did tell me about how you got of course I saw how you got on the X Plus, but what got you into Sofubi? Because according to your according to your YouTube channel, you have a massive Sofubi collection as well. And Lord knows, every time I look up on Collect on Monsters, you unbox another Sofubi figure. So what really got you deep dive into Sofubi? Because I know that that's a really unique taste for a lot of people, and a lot of people don't really fall into it. But when you do, it takes a grip on you.
So it actually took a long time. I was growing up, and it was mainly a monetary thing, admittingly looking outside back in, I was mainly a Bandai guy, and then I tried to get the monster arts I could up until 2019.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really understand the stylized. I was very big on like accuracy and detail and keeping the colorways, to the movies, but 2019 G-Fest would be Takarada's last appearance at a G-Fest and pretty much one of his last conventions before his passing. And I remember I couldn't find anything for him to sign, and I went to Clawmark Toys, and David Eric Dopko was there. And I had a few things, like the Defo 54 had come out around that time, and there was Mike Johnson had a really good Rick exclusive for a really good deal. But I was kind of thinking about that, but then putting it back in the box, plastic on signatures, sometimes rubs it off, and I don't want to risk that. And I confided in David. He's like, we got this really beautiful M1, just the brown and silver 54 from 2002, and it was really, really inexpensive. And I was like, this would be perfect. And it sits on my shelf. And I also ended up with the Medicom Burning Godzilla, the Howler, the Screamer, the normal movie paint. That was out around that time. I got that as well, because that was the first Sofubi that really, like, looking at it for not as a signature perspective, but just as like a collectible, I looked at it and I was like, I need to have that. And then a few years later, David Eric Dopko once again taking photos of those darn cherry blossom Mondo Godzilla 84s. That was the first Sofubi I tried to get, and that was like the first pre-order like that I tried to do. And like most people, we were very frustrated with that first 84 drop and Hedorah drop. That was a mess, but David was able to get one, and his photos, especially with Sofubi, it's just like the way he's able to, he always makes me want an item, even if when I'm looking at it beforehand, I don't sometimes want something, and then I see his photographs and it's just like, David, you gotta stop. And then it was everyone else with Maru-san and the glitters, and Ryan Wilhelm and Toku Toy Town J. Key hooked me up with my clear glitter 89. And once I had those two in hands, it was a habit. So I've cut back on it. I've actually sold a lot, and I'm still selling a lot, because I kind of went out of what I wanted my Sofubi collection was. I started just kind of buying molds to get molds instead of just saving up and getting the colorways I really want. So I've gone and I've started selling things and saving up and putting money away for colorways, for rarer colorways. Or when it comes to Marmot, there's been whispers of Marmot coming back this year. So I've kind of like, I sold my Godzilla 2000 that I bought my brown one in the GMK, and hopes that hopefully those will get reissued in a color that kind of fits the scheme, the overall theme of my collection. Although I did recently break it. I'm currently 2 for 2 on the Mondo Evolved Godzillas, and I'm now going to go 4 for 4. There's something about that mold and the 2 colorways we've gotten, and it wasn't confirmed per se, but Hector kind of said in a public comment on Instagram that the Kong and Godzilla will get cherry blossoms this year, as well as hopefully the Gabra set. So that kind of was the thought, was like, well, I got the first one because it was red and kind of blue. It fits my color theme. And then I just saw these movie colors, and I was like, well, there's pink on the back and the eyes are pink. And then I was like, well, the San Diego Comic-Con's now cherry blossom, and there's only one more after that, unless there's like a 1 of or like a 2 of at DCon, which I won't go for, because those are in-house releases. Excuse me. So now it's just like, well, I'll just be 4/4 on them, unless the colorway is like something that I really don't like. But I just think the sculpt is really good. So I'm very curious to see how they're if it is cherry blossom. Interested to see how the Kong looks. I feel like that out of the two is going to be the one I'm more interested on how the colorway is going to lay, because the cherry blossoms are just such unique figures, and every year they change how they do it while still being the same. And then their glow in the darks are getting better, thankfully, every year. So I'm very excited to see the improvements, especially if we're getting 3, well, technically 5 drops this year at San Diego Comic-Con. My wallet is really, really not ready for that. But a Sofubi Gabara and a Sofubi, another Sofubi Minya. Yes, please. Mondo, you've got my heart this year, and Maro-san's got some crazy announcements. Maybe did you see their latest reveal of their Shin Godzilla second form?
Oh, I have not yet.
He just posted it's coming out, and then there might be a third and fourth form on the way. Not saying anything guaranteed yet, but there maybe heard something on the pipeline, and that was my wish list for Sofubi this year. I was gonna go to G-Fest. I wanted to hopefully try to get an interview at the Maro-san table, and that was going to be one of my questions, if he would consider doing a Shin Godzilla, and it seems like my wish might have been granted. I mean, even if it's only the second form, I love Kamada-kun, so I will take that. Even if it was only second and third form, it would be more than fine with me. But the fact that he might be doing a fourth form in his style, it's going to be, I think, one of his most unique molds, and I wait for an anticipation if it is coming. So if it is, wink.
But that would be nice. I mean, I'm not a huge Komodo-kun fan, but seeing that in the Sofubi form would be very interesting, honestly. Yeah. And like you said, with the modes for Godzilla and Kong, I skipped the first release only because I just didn't have the money at the time. But the second release that just got put out, I was like, yeah, I'm getting this one. I don't know, something about the natural color on this. It looks so good. I don't know. Yeah. It looks amazing.
Actually, it's interesting the color they chose for the body. It's kind of like what they did with Monster Arts, where they made it a little bit more like a Heisei, like charcoal gray, instead of kind of the more like brown, kind of green, or like really, lighter gray. And it really works with the evolved Godzilla colors, with the pink, and like the Monster Arts is blue because it's supposed to be a charge up. So I was debating when they showed the photos. I slept on it, and I woke up and I saw within like an hour it was already saying it was almost gone, even though they doubled the drop. I believe it was 500 or 450. That's a lot for a Mondo release. And I was just like, I have to. I have to. I'm really excited for it. And then they both drop in November, so hopefully they don't get delayed. There might be a chance that most of them, or maybe even all 4, drop at the same time, kind of like the Rodans. And that's just going to be really cool, having a new colorway of a figure that I'm hopefully very confident that I'm going to really, really love, and just watching it just in one drop and then another in hand. Because it's always, although I was frustrated with the delays on Rodan, it was kind of like the Shin Godzilla, really fun watching everyone get their colorways that hopefully weren't the wrong colorways. And just seeing everyone's excitement for it, and then eventually getting my cherry blossom in hand. And it's just like, I'm excited to maybe get a few different colorways, because I only have the golden Jet Jaguar. Otherwise, I'm only a cherry blossom guy with Mondo, so far at least. So, but their glitters are definitely tempting. I missed out on the Space Godzilla, and now I kind of regret it.
Oh,
that glitter intergalactic colorway, it's pretty. But such is the life of collecting. There'll be another thing out there that will pique my interest, and Maro-san's got more glitters than I have years in life, so I'm very excited to get more of those. So yeah, it's been a fun blast. I'm really excited for this year. I think more is coming. Like, it's been I don't know, how do you think it's been a pretty busy year for pre-orders? I feel like it's definitely been a little bit more this first half. 70th anniversary, but I feel like we're going to start getting into something new multiple times a week.
I'm honestly, I'm scared because I've got what I think it was. I think 2019 or 2020 when it was drops off of like every other week. Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, I can't keep up with this, man. Stop it.
I mean, X Plus is already there. Like with we have so much. We had the Baragon, the 93 pre-order's been out, but it got delayed like 2 weeks, but it still comes out in June. We have the -1s. We had those Shin Godzillas that got revealed. They're bringing back the normal colors with a brand new light up, and then we're getting a 30 centimeter ortho color. I'm getting both. So it's just like looking at that, it's like, oh, there's $700 right out of my bank account, but I don't, that paying 700 for two instead of paying 700 for just the standard that was released a few years ago. I'll take my wins and all the gigantics that are coming out. Easy Hobbies dropping 3 different scales of their -1s this month here in the next week or two. Rumor has it an X Plus gigantic -1 might be somewhere along the way. We got the Space Godzilla and whatever else. We still have that O2 that hasn't made an appearance since last year, Winter Wonder Fest, that I'm sure is going to just slide right into a spot here in
Probably will.
So Summer Wonder Fest. I've got my friends. Thankfully, they already had a plan and they did it last year. They sent me photos as soon as they got to the X Plus table. They got me photos and sent it to me so I could start getting set up and posting things on Instagram. So I fear for what's dropping, but I'm also excited. We also have like the Ava Godzilla V2, The Awakening. I hope I can get that. The Ava Godzilla X Pluses sell out like that. So I'm hoping I'm able to get that Awakening in time and not have to pay the aftermarket price that probably is going to make me a little uncomfortable, but I don't have the first version, and that one's already risen up almost a little too much out of what I would like to spend right now. So I'll wait and see if I get lucky with this one, I guess. Hopefully.
Hey, Tim, I guess we're a little over an hour now. So I guess the last question I have for you is, do you have any future projects coming up that you like to talk about, or any future reviews that you're going to be posting soon?
Nothing too concrete. I think it's pretty safe to say, just kind of looking at growth, I'll be hitting 1,000 subscribers at some point this year.
Cool.
Hopefully, if Shma and Haya debates don't actually kill the channel, which it doesn't look like it has. We're still growing, so I'm starting to plan out kind of what I would like to do and start on projects for a very large live stream for that once it hits, and once I'm actually sitting at over 1,000 for a few days or a few weeks. We've got that. Like I mentioned before we started, the Easy Hobby / X Plus 4th form Shin Godzilla is hopefully going to be at my doorstep within the next week or so. Hopefully going to be able to do a big live unboxing for that if I get tracking in time. Sometimes they just show up at the door, and I'm not going to be able to wait to open him up. I already
know you're not.
No, so I would like to do another hot sauce stream. I've got those wonderfully hot Shin Godzilla hot sauces up on the shelf that I would like to use. So I like to do something like that. Otherwise, I think it's just going to be a relaxed year of just keeping up with reviews as products come out, and there might be a few surprises on the way. I'm trying to plan a few things, but I won't say, because normally when I do, it ends up not working or getting delayed. So we'll keep our fingers crossed in the mystery of those for right now.
Well, you heard that, people. If you want to see what surprises are coming up, make sure to go subscribe to Tanner's channel, and I'll definitely leave a link to his channel in the description. But
Yeah.
Thank you for your time, Tanner. It was great being able to actually talk to you for a while. 'Cause I know for G-Fest we was kind of ripping and running, and we didn't get to sit down and talk.
Yes, Chief Fest is so busy, so and that's just how it goes. But it's nice seeing people. Yeah, channel's got reviews. Subscribe if you like. If there's anyone from my channel that's here, make sure to subscribe here to Monsters with Attitude. They have got some really crazy interviews coming that you got planned next week, and I'm sure there's probably a little bit more down the pipeline, and plenty of interviews and these just awesome videos or live streams you guys have been doing on the back. You guys had the voice actress for Kid Gohan here. I've got to catch up on that. That came kind of like in the middle of a work schedule, so I've got to watch that. I'm very, very excited to see that.
He was a sweetheart. Talking to her was on. It was awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. That's what I've been told. So from some of the Dragon Ball side of the community. So I'm very excited to go and catch up on the last few streams. I got a lot of streams to catch up on. So, but definitely doing that. So, but thank you for having me on and inviting me, even through tech issues. So, but it's been a pleasure and an honor to be on here, and good to talk to you again. And I'll miss you not being at G Fest, but I can't wait to see all the photos and all the fun you guys have as well. So, and just with the channel as well. So thanks again, man.
Awesome. Appreciate you, Tanner. And for everybody else, we will see you. The next live stream is going to be on the 23rd, where we have Mark Saraceni. That's gonna be awesome. Because of course, if you grew up in the 90s, we read all that man's books.
Yes. I actually haven't read, but the name and just the excitement for watching the interview, I'm very, very excited for this, and I have a lot of friends that are very excited for this. So I can't wait.
Yes, I can't wait either, because I mean, his guy's a little bit with a Bible growing up. But what guys don't know, I got from his books.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
All right, everybody. I guess we'll see you all next time. Have a great day.
Yep. See you, everyone. Thank you.